So the next day was Tuesday, and that was June 17th. And I had started out the morning. Um, that's a hard day for me because that was my ex-husband's and my anniversary. And we'd been married for 20 years, and it was pretty miserable. And the marriage was pretty miserable. And so this was the 30th anniversary of when we had gotten married. And I just kind of went through a thing that morning of becoming grateful for that because I had 5 wonderful children and I grew a lot as a person. I grew a lot in my relationship with God and stuff. I think that when you're going through hard times, a lot of times that's when you really do grow the most. And so I had expressed on Facebook that I was really thankful for that, even though it hadn't turned out well. I was thankful for what God had brought me through in that and how he had grown me and everything. So I kind of think that that was significant because I think that it opened me up to the place where I was no longer living in the past and I was ready to move forward. From my conversation with Bill, like I said, the night before, I had really felt like I recognized him, and I really don't know how else to explain it. It was like we had always known each other. It was just really, and yet we wanted to know everything about each other because we didn't know anything about each other. And it was just really, really fantastic. And I knew that I loved him, which was really weird for me because I felt like that should be something that grows, not that you suddenly have. And so I kept saying to myself all throughout the day, don't tell him you love him, don't tell him you love him, don't tell him you love him, because I really feel that the first time saying I love you should be a man's prerogative. And that's like just really his privilege and stuff. And so I was afraid that I would just like say that. So anyway, so he called me that evening after I got off work, like about 7 or 8 or so.
Oh, it was later than that.
Okay, 9 or so.
It was
yeah.
maybe 10.
I think I worked until 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Your time.
So it may have been 10. It was in Minnesota. It was the summer, so it was still light. And I walked for a little while I was talking to him, but my phone battery didn't last for very long, so I had to go sit in the car where I could plug it in. And so we were talking.
We talked, and we talked about all kinds of stuff.
And he got to hear the train go by and think that it was running over me because it was just a block and a half away.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's this huge roar. And it's like, what the heck is that? Well, it's the train. Okay, it's Warren Buffett's train going by. So anyway, we're talking, and I had from the very beginning, from the 6th of June, when we first started emailing each other, and then our subsequent phone conversation, I just felt a huge connection to Alyce-Kay and a great deal of affection toward her. And so it was shortly after midnight, my time, the 18th of June.
But still the 17th for me, so it was 2 different days for us.
Right. And
I was in Central Time, he was in Eastern.
Right. And I said to her, to Alyce-Kay, I said, I love you. And dead silence on the other end of the phone. And go ahead.
But then I said that I loved him back because I knew it. I already knew that. I knew that all day. But I was just really shocked to hear it from him that soon and everything. Yeah. And then, do you remember what you said the next day?
Yes.
That wasn't the big thing. What you said the next day was you wondered if you had scared me off.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I said no. It was incredible. It was like, I used to hate it when I asked people, how did you know when you met the right person? And people go, oh, you just know. And it's like, man, I wanted to just slap people or strangle them or something. But that's really how it happened, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, we just knew.
Yeah, we just knew.
We just knew.
And knew with absolute certainty. So we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow.